Nobuyoshi Araki, Tokyo Still Life. I have to be really careful with this book because it's full of explicit images. Nothing really bad, but a lot of body parts, a lot of body parts deemed as art, a lot of body parts deemed as a sort of reality check on life. I like his work, and it really sort of holds no bars on what he's trying to illustrate. He covers death, he covers life, he covers sex a lot. I think he covers his thoughts. There's no, with Nobuyoshi's work, there's no excuse. He doesn't apologize for anything he does. Like, the style's very similar, like a lot of Japanese photography, which I've seen over the years, that sort of black and white abstract, pure whites and blacks and deep blacks. I love it. I'm going to turn these pages. It might get a bit stop-start this because, and you might miss a lot, but because there is a lot of stuff in here I don't want to show on the internet. You can buy this book. It is absolutely really good, to be honest. It's on the internet, it's easily available, it's not that expensive. Let's have a look at it, and I'll try my best. Published in 1999. It's a retrospective, I think, and it goes from his sort of early exhibitions, which was, let me find it, which was this, Sachin and his brother Mabo. I think this was somewhere, crikey, somewhere early on in the 70s, late 60s, that this was one of his first exhibitions. And it's gorgeous. Some lovely colour. It's got that sort of early 70s colour to it, hasn't it? Anyway, so going back to this, it starts with that and then it ends to this exhibition called The End of the Century. So this was, I think it was on at the Ikon Gallery. Anyway, so I'm going to go through it, take on board some of the imagery, take on board some of the beauty in the shots, take on board just the unapologetic way of taking pictures, really. There's all concepts, themes, metaphors within everything he showed. This is a slight snippet, I guess, of his bigger picture of work. He's got, search his name on the internet, he's got absolutely tons of stuff. And then you'll see a more in-depth version of what I'm going to show. I just want to show some of these. I want to show this book because I love it and I love that cover. And, right, so I think there's a foreword by Adrian Searle. Actually, this is the foreword by Jonathan Watkins, and there's an essay called Suspended Feeling, Nobuyoshi Araki. Feeling, feeling, feeling. Pressing the shutter is like stopping the breath for a second, but no killing, please. It's just a state of suspended feeling. And that's what he's doing. He's just, whatever he's thinking, whatever he's looking at, it's life, it's that, it's it. Whether he's looking at a tied-up woman or a budgie or a cat or a dog, that's it, and he incorporates that within the concept of what he's shooting. Adrian Searle this was in 2001. Adrian, as I remember, is the senior art critic at The Guardian. So he knows his stuff, and yeah, so a great essay. I've read some of it, actually. I remember reading this when I first had it, and it's like, there's some really nice discussion in it, like talking about his metaphors and the way he shoots. And I think, you know, there's certain things which he says and which make relevance, and I think you need to look into that. I think you should buy it. Anyway, so this is Sachin and his brother, Mabo, and that there, and then that's on that page there. That's really nice. I don't know what that's about, I have to say. Like, I read through some of Adrian's stuff, I might be able to get it. So then you can guess why I'm covering my hand here. This one's called Tokyo Nude. It's going to be quite interesting. I have a thing about Tokyo because I've worked in Tokyo and I absolutely adored the place. I thought it was amazing. It was a bit expensive when I was there, but it was just, I just loved it. I loved the feeling of the place and that innocent quality of the place where you just can be yourself, and very much everybody else was being themselves. I think that's about as risky as I can get, really, with this. This is the Tokyo Nude, and again, a crossover, and we've got that. And this is Sentimental Journey. Like I said, I'm not really sure about some of the stories. I need to refresh myself. But like I said, I just want to open up the world to, you know, his work and some of the concepts he's falling in and doing, and some of the concepts he's working on or worked on. So let's have a look at this. Yeah, that's pretty safe apart from that picture there. That looks like a gravestone. So he does play with death a lot in his shots. He plays with life in many forms. I'll go back to that so I can turn the page. And that's a very safe shot. And you can see, look, there's a time shot of 89. And they're not shot on very expensive cameras, but, you know, you don't need to. There's no real rules, you know. If you're fitting a imagery into a narrative structure or a concept, then it doesn't really matter, you know. You're just visualizing your thoughts, your dreams. And that's very much what Nobuyoshi does, you know. And again, cat in the hedge, shadow on the bush. And again, I guess playing with that life and mortality thing as well, hospital. And this is a journey on a route of memories, maybe. That could be with a sentimental journey. And the death of somebody. So maybe it was, you know, maybe, oh, look at the pictures of the cats and stuff. It is beautiful, you know. It's such brave stuff to do. And it's where we'll all be one day. And I think there's nothing wrong with playing on that, you know. And there's a picture of the cat, and there's the cat there, playing in different variations, and alone as well, showing it sort of on its own. And maybe this is a sort of homage to that lady for whatever reason she sadly passed away. I think it's wonderful. I like it, I do. Erotos now, I'm a bit nervous on this one, because even just looking at that eye, I can see that there's something even more hidden in the shape of it, and I think it's very sort of sexual. It's very, very cleverly shot. He's very good. Okay, these are not that bad. Look at that. And then that plate there, it's pretty good. There's nothing too dodgy in all of this. I wonder if these are symbols and signs of, that is amazing. Oh, look at that. That is amazing. It's only a tongue. So YouTube, if you're watching, it's only a tongue. That's amazing. You've got the ring flash lines there, so you can see how it's shot. You've got ring flash halos there as well. They're all over. It sort of adds to the concept. It's interesting. Would you have taken that off? Maybe. I don't think he cares. Flowers, again, sort of sexual, almost, you know, a metaphor for like phallic symbols, you know, and that one there. Definitely. Wow, look at that. Just looks more like a part of the body, doesn't it? Tokyo nostalgia. I should bring this down a little bit more. So I'm going to cover that and then run on to that. There's nothing dodgy about that. It's a lot of almost like dreamy sort of snippets of a journey and a woman. Was that the woman in the last thing who lost her life? Obviously snapshots of Tokyo. Some relevance to the photographer. And okay, so this is where it's going to get a bit jumpy. I moved over here to this page. Almost like, it's almost like they're quite sinister, some of these, and I'm sure they're not meant to be. And there's definitely a sort of separation and a sort of really strong signal within the shots that the landscape is supposed to be intimidating and the person is intimidated, maybe. It's quite sort of, you can feel there's a sort of intimidation and separation from people from this backdrop here. And then they're almost they're obviously in there, and there's a sense of alienation as well. It's really interesting. I guess with the pictures I'm missing out, it would make sense. It feels like they're almost crime scenes. There's women tied up on my right page. It's intriguing. And again, yeah, it's definitely something really sinister. It's like a unfolding of a detective or a thriller series, you know, where they find the crime scenes, they find the women bound up, and it's really sinister. And all the evidence of the area is all like CCTV almost. It's really, really interesting. And there's the cat. You know, a lot of people who put that sort of shot in who wouldn't get away with it, but there's definitely a strong narrative link between the cat and the other shots, and it's quite interesting how somebody can justify that cat in relationship to everything else, and it's just fascinating how we accept it. Whereas if somebody like myself would put a picture of a cat like that in, nobody would take me seriously, because I haven't got a strong, the stuff is not part of a sort of very abstract message in a way. Maybe that's it, and I'm not as well known as Nobuyoshi. So here we go, back to that. It's pretty some sick stuff. This almost is sort of coming to the end of that series, and almost like he could be the kidnapper, you know. I may be reading this totally wrong, but it's really, why? So what? My interpretation, that's what it's all about. And then almost like the normality of things going around the place. It's fascinating. And then, you know, then we've got a girl who's very passive now, not tied up. And then we've got this lovely face of an elderly man. And it's gone from a sort of abruptly horrible type of photography, which is looking at women in a very compromising way, to stuff like, to shots like that. There's another picture on the other side I don't want to show. This is going to take some editing. So, yeah. And then I've jumped a few pictures because, again, there were just some sort of very naked women, and we've got quite a few here. And then we go to that. I mean, come on. There's some good photography. That's a gorgeous shot. I love that shot. It's really good. Great photography. And then we end, I've missed quite a few, at the end of the century. This is the final shot, exhibition. And then we get to the end of the century. This is the final one. And then, right, so maybe this is more, I'm sort of getting the feeling on this one. So let me just explain the feelings I'm getting. So there's naked pictures of women on this side. There's these guys. It sort of ends with, it's ending with these guys, obviously like almost a stag party, but I know with Japanese culture, this is very part of the culture, drinking and guys together and stuff like that. And the shot of girls who are sexually explicit shots, and I think it's using women as a sort of sex objects. That's what I'm getting, and understanding and really sort of lowering the woman as a sort of thing of object of desire, going by some of the pictures, what I'm saying, and the way the men are behaving. There's nothing dodgy on that, but I'll give you this sort of last shot. There's the cat. I wonder if that was his sister or his wife who owned the cat, and this is his way of coming to terms with stuff. I have no idea. I think there's some lovely stuff in Nobuyoshi's work, and I think you should go out and discover it a little bit, and I'm pleased that I've offered you a little insight. I have waffled a little, but that's the beauty of photography. You can read into it what you really want to get out of it. Thank you, Nobuyoshi, and if I come across any more of your work, I'll put it on. Thank you.